Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai Episode 4 is called The Dark Lord Hadlar's Return. Now, we last left off with the training of Dai, where Dai basically was stuck in a bit of a pinch because Avan, who's been training Dai, transformed into a dragon as part of his training. And that's the cliffhanger. But the story of the episode is that the Dark Lord Hadlar, like the episode title suggests, has returned. Now, this character is exclusive to the Dai story. This character is not from one of the video games, talking about Hadlar. He is, in some ways, he's inspired by some of the other villains, like the villains from the older Dragon Quest games, but he is unique to the Dai story, but he's got abilities. For example, in a few of the translations, they refer to him as an archfiend, and an archfiend in Dragon Quest, to my sort of recollection, is a guy who, in the sense of a Dark Lord, he's physically and magically powerful. So he controls other monsters. He's also got magic abilities and can use magic at will. And he's also physically powerful. And a lot of the, I guess, you can call them final bosses or whatever. It was a term that I first saw used in Dragon Quest III, the Archfiend. That's pretty much what he is. But we'll find out more about that type of stuff as the series progresses. As expected, Dai has no idea what to do here because a dragon's scales cannot be pierced by mere steel. And even though he might try some of the techniques that he already learned, he'll have to use his brain here because the dragons are the fiercest monsters in the series, really. The directing for this little training sequence between Dai and Avan in his dragon form is absolutely incredible. It's just really, really well directed. Animation's beautiful. He pretty much figures out that he has to use the wave slash in order to overcome this, and that's exactly what he does. Avan shoots his fire out, and then Dai uses the wave slash to block it, or to deflect it, that is. It's more of a defensive move, but it's effective against dragons who breathe fire, and most of them happen to do that. You gotta see it, though. You have to, if you haven't seen this episode, which I'm hoping you have before you watch the review, but if you did not see it, you should, because just really pay close attention to the scene and how well it looks, how good it looks. The production on this show, I say it every week, it's just incredible. I wish Dragon Ball Super looked like this, you know what I mean, every week. We got a few good episodes here and there when they brought in the A-Team, but it wasn't like this. This is like next level stuff right here. And not only is Dai improving as far as a physical fighter goes, but also his magic is going up as well, because when Avan goes back to human form, his nose is all burnt from the fire, and Dai creates, with the crack spell, a little ice cube to be able to cool him down. So this whole thing about Dai not being able to use magic, he is evolving and growing like you can expect from these types of shows, or like from a JRPG. I've set it up a bunch of times. If you're into JRPGs and you're into shonen sort of shows, shonen manga, shonen anime, this is the show for you. This is for you because you get both together in one. You're going to get your epic quests, you're going to get your epic villains, you're going to get your power-ups and all that kind of stuff. But the fun does not last. There's a big-ass earthquake, and it turns out that the Dark Lord is here, and he's ready to destroy the force field that was created around the island. This scene is great. Just the effects here, the sort of incredible, giant-sized power-up, just very Dragon Ball reminiscent. Everything is shaking like it's just a huge sort of cataclysmic type of event. The resurrected Dark Lord himself appears in front of them. It's not just a regular monster, it's him, and he's on the island. And this is where the big reveal happens that I've been teasing for a few episodes here, a few reviews. That we find out that, yes, Avan is indeed the original hero. He was the original main hero that took down the Archfiend, that took down the Dark Lord, and defeated him and his minions way, way back. So he now is in the process of training Dai to be the next hero, but he was the original hero. And so these two guys have beef, and that's really what's going on. For his own good, Pop does not want Dai to get involved. He wants it to be a one-on-one fight between Avan and the Dark Lord, the way it's supposed to be. But you can tell he's kind of afraid, too, as he's hiding with Dai from this chaos. So in one of the most badass scenes we've seen yet, I have a big smile on my face. Hadlar casts the boom spell and fires a blast at him, and freaking Avan just grabs it with his hand and just squeezes it and just tosses it to the side. What a freaking badass. This guy was supposed to be this sort of comedic character, you know, as the trainer and whatnot. And he had every trope except for the fact that he wasn't a pervert, you know, like a lot of the other trainers in these shows. And yet, man, he just blocked that like nothing, bro. But I mean, remember, he is a legendary hero. Avan fires a sizzle spell at him, and it doesn't do anything except for burn his cloak and everything. So this dude's all like, rips off his cloak. He's all shredded. You know, he's like laughing. I got to give it up to the voice acting. I don't know the name of the actor that plays him. I'll probably look it up after the review. But tremendous voice for this character. I kind of expect it to be more of a deeper voice for him. But, because, you know, you're used to kind of these warlock type villains having these really deep voices. But it works. I think it works here. You know, he's kind of like got the psycho clown thing going on, even though he's not really one of those kind of characters. Still, it worked. I think it worked. So then we have another big twist. And first of all, the music in this scene and the way it's described is freaking awesome. So we find out that Hadlar is resurrected by an even higher evil power named Lord Vern, who is basically, for lack of a better term, he's known as the Underground King. He's basically Satan. I mean, literally, maybe not literally, but you get what I'm saying. He's like an evil god, and he was able to resurrect the Dark Lord after 10 years of being out, being beaten by, at least that's what he says here, he was being beaten by the hero, and he's been out, but now he's got a new body and a stronger body. He is only now the supreme commander of the armies. The real supervillain, I guess, of this whole thing is Lord Vern. And basically now, you know, the army is coming with the Demon King. I mean, they call him Daimao, so I mean, it would be the same thing, right? Dark King, Demon King, it's all the same thing. Now, there is a tremendous Easter egg here that goes all the way back to Dragon Quest I. Hadlar tells him, he goes, remember our battle 15 years ago? I'm going to make you the same offer I made you then. He says, join me and I'll give you half the world. This is literally what the Dragon Lord tells you at the end of the first Dragon Quest game when you face him off, and if you say yes, it's game over. You're not supposed to turn evil at the end. You're supposed to say no, and then you fight him in battle for the final battle of the game. This is a very deep cut for those of us who grew up with Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior on Nintendo. And when he said, I'm going to make you an offer, I was already smiling because I had an idea they were going to go with this, and they did go with it. So all little Easter eggs in this damn anime are for the hardcore fans, and it's very much appreciated, trust me. Obviously, I don't speak fluent Japanese, but it sounded like the phrasing of it was exactly like in the original game, like almost identical to it. So it's got to be a throwback purposely. I mean, it is, no, without question. So they both go to their heavy hitter moves. The Dark Lord uses the Kaboom spell, the most powerful explosion spell in Dragon Quest, and then Avan uses the Avan Slash, and they both collide like a big beam struggle. But not quite the same way, but they do have a big collision. And both of these dudes go down in pain. Oh, and I may have said Avan Slash. I think I meant to say Avan Strash. Either way, Hadlar is all gored up. I mean, he is just jacked up right here. But now that he has a more powerful body, he can regenerate. So, ain't gonna be so easy. So we find out that the reason why Avan went down the way he's doing right now is because he used up a lot of his magic when he fought Dai in the training when he became a dragon. So he's not at full capacity. It's not so much that the Dark Lord is that much more powerful than him or that he's weak or anything like that. It's just that he's used up that MP. Which, again, it's a freaking video game. Dai tries to attack him from behind, and this freaking guy, Hadlar, blocks it with one finger, and then throws him around like a rag doll. Freaking awesome, yo. This episode had great animation, even though it was a bit more of a cartoony style of animation, but much more like rounded faces and things like that, but it worked. I mean, no complaints from me in that department. So upon discovering that he was made to bleed by Dai by blocking it with his finger, he tries to attack Dai and finish him off with a blast, but Avan gets in front and takes the blast, very much like Piccolo did Gohan, except that it was on his back, not on his chest. But same idea, he ate the blast to protect Dai and Pop from, well, possibly dying. This is pretty much where the cliffhanger of the episode happens, and next week the battle will continue. I will tell you this, the adaptation's going by pretty damn quick because we're already in episode 4 and we're seeing this fight. And there are different like mini arcs in this series as it progresses, but I'm just surprised as to how fast the anime is going. I've seen some people say that this show could last about 2 years, and I could see it being even less than that if they rush through it the way they're doing now. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's going by a lot faster than I was expecting. So overall, I did enjoy this episode, and I look forward to seeing where we go from here. Let me know what you thought about episode 4 of Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. And the adventure continues. So what more can I say? I'll talk to you soon.